everyone. Would you please stand? Anybody like to volunteer to give the prayer? Chris?
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for the blessings you give us daily.
Yes,
Lord,
Lord.
we thank you for keeping us all safe. We thank you for the protection that you give us. Lord God, we pray that as we go through this meeting, decisions will be made that would be pleasing to you and would be a benefit to this county. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated, stand, whatever you're going to do. Call the meeting to order. In attendance tonight is Commissioner Rist, myself. Commissioner Burton cannot be here tonight. His father is very sick and has been sick for quite some time. And his sister had to leave to go out of state, so Gary is with his dad. We'd like to keep Gary and his dad and everybody in our prayers. The auditor, Sheila, is sick. Sick of all of us, I think, but she's at home. Beth Wood will fill in for her. Everybody knows I'm not politically correct. I don't follow guidelines, and so I'll start, get back, start and get back, and somebody wave their hand when the first hour is over, if you don't mind. The approval of minutes and claims. I've read the minutes, sir. Have you read the minutes, sir? And you okay with the minutes?
Yes, sir, I've read them.
Okay, been through all the claims.
Yes, sir.
Once again, here I go. Try to be as polite as I can.
Gonna make a motion to approve minutes.
Can I we do it all together or just do the minutes
Do it
first?
separate.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye, too. Sorry, Beth. Just stay with me, okay? Claims. We've been doing a lot better. We don't have as many, we don't have the out-of-cycle claims that we did in the past. Very minimal, usually utilities or Toshiba. But I'll remind department heads, and I'll just say it straight up, if you don't turn your claim in, your contractors don't get paid. Claims are turned in twice a month. We've been through this, been through this, been through this. Sheila, the auditor's office, got guidelines of when the claims are supposed to be turned in. If you think you can come in a half hour later and turn your claims in, or you can come in the next morning, they're not getting paid. It's on you. It's not on the auditor's office because you're running late, getting behind. No excuse. Claims are paid twice a month. Right, Diane? Everybody's got plenty of time to turn claims in. You don't turn your claims in, they don't get paid. We're not doing out-of-cycle claims for contractors. We're not doing out-of-cycle claims for nobody, except for what is governed by the State Board of Accounts that we can. So please, due diligence. Turn your claims in, be responsible for them, and that way the contractors, if they get mad, it's not going to be at us. It'll be at the department head. Is that good, Diane? That sound pretty good? Okay, as long as you're happy, Diane. When you get a frown on your face, I got a problem up here, okay? The total amount for payroll is $329,940.20. Regular claims, $270,032.29. Out of cycle claims, $10,000 is $435.87. Total payroll and claims, $610,408.36. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Claims and payroll has been approved. Okay, now we're going into some old business, and this won't take too long. Human resources position pending. The commissioner or the council had a meeting the other night. Paul, there you are. You can sit up here with the rest of us. That way people can holler at you. It works better that way. When you're council, you can sit up here. We don't care. I'm sorry, I didn't pay attention. The human resources position is, we've talked about this over and over and over. I think the council is well aware. I spoke to another council member today that this is something that we are going to move forward with. We're going to have job descriptions and scope of work here in the next month. for this position, because I'll tell you something, if we'd had the human resources in position a year ago, some of the shenanigans and BS that's been going on wouldn't be going on. Tell you straight up, they would have nipped that in the bud a long time ago, and people would be working someplace else. How's that sound? Pretty good? So this position, I think Paula will testify to this, that human resources is a much needed position. It's not only a benefit for the commissioners, as you know, the former commissioners and Commissioner Burton, but he's not here, but he understands this. They turned that position over to the county attorney. Wrong. It don't work that way. County attorney is not your human resources officer. That's a big flaw. So our attorney, who's not here tonight, he's on his way to Kansas for his nephew's wedding, has made it perfectly clear he will not be the human resources officer. It's a violation of his practice. So we are getting our information all put together. Thanks for Pat Conner sending down the gentleman to help us facilitate some of this. We've got some more information put together, and I hope that we're going to present this to the council in May. Is that correct?
Whatever you say.
Well, that's what you said in your meeting. That's what Anton said, to get the package put together and present to them in May. We're going to move forward with human resource position. It's going to be a contracted position, not an employee position. It's you know, it's under the guidelines of the commissioners, but it has to be funded through the council, you know, so it's on the move. It's a much needed thing. If anything needs to be done in this county is having a human resources officer, administrator, whatever the word you want to use for them. So stand by for more news. The jail project update. We do have the second environmental study is back. There is some questions that Craig Kaufman had concerns with. I think the environmental study, Paul, you may know more about this, being that you're on the redevelopment committee. I think the second study encompassed some of the ground that is not on the property that we're going to acquire. Is that
Right.
correct?
That's correct.
So that has to be removed from the environmental study. Another delay has to be rewrote. So, Paul, you got anything else on the project update?
No, I think basically we were wanting to wait until after to see what happened with Senate Bill 1 and see where our property taxes were, but we definitely are gonna go through with the land swap. It's just, we've gotta get the environmental study and then have our next meeting.
So we're waiting on the redevelopment to form a meeting, but the environmental study will have to be wrote to take out the property that was in the study. So that's that. New business. Diane. Here she comes.
We've got Knox County, sorry.
There he is again. He's back
Clerk is
again.
back, David Shelton, and I'm guessing you guys have the ordinance to sign?
The
Yes.
redistrict, yeah. Okay, Beth, you put it in here.
Look at your next tab.
I'm looking at all
Wait,
tabs.
right here. It's-
Do you want any kind of recap of what we talked about the last meeting, sir?
Yeah, you can kind of do that while I'm going through this.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're addressing county council redistricting. It's something that's supposed to be done after every centennial census.
Okay.
Should have been done in 2021, but that census data release was delayed by several months, giving counties maybe 2 months to actually address it. A lot of counties just simply didn't know what to do because there was no instruction coming down from the top for them to redistrict. They didn't know where to begin. When it comes to redistricting, you have to start at the congressional districts. The State House does that. You take the entire population of the state of Indiana, divide it by the 9 congressional districts, and that's how they have to draw the map. So 8 of the congressional districts have the exact same population. One of the districts has 1 additional person. Then they go down and redistrict your state rep, your state senator districts. They have a little bit more wiggle room there, 1/10 of 1% population deviation between each one of those districts. When you get to the county level or municipal level, there's no numbers set in law. Rule of thumb is 10%, population deviation, because you're dealing with such smaller numbers, and You can be geographically challenged to your townships, your precinct sizes, or even your census blocks themselves. Owen County is currently at 38% population deviation. So, some action is required here in this county. The State House realized we have a problem. We have about 25 counties that did not redistrict, and twice that number of cities that didn't redistrict in 2021 and 2022. So it actually created a grace period this year that began January 1st and runs through the end of June. If the redistricting authorities, your county commissioners, or your city councils still fail to address the redistricting within those parameters, they don't get paid after June 30th anymore. So there's some added motivation for them to do the work. In addition to that, you have a couple groups out there, your Common Cause, your Legal and Voters, that are ready to file litigation against the counties or communities that fail to provide proper population deviation, because it's all about equal representation, one voice, one vote, on down those lines. So we're gonna redistrict here hopefully and get you all into compliance and avoid any kind of litigation, because if litigation is filed, you will lose, be paying both sides of the attorney fees, and the petitioner would be able to draw the maps as they see fit. The city of Anderson messed around, didn't redistrict, they got sued, and it cost the city of Anderson about $300,000 just in legal fees alone for failure to redistrict. Now, what we're doing here in Owen County is a combination of two different redistricting techniques that I named. One of them is the simplest version, where you can simply take an entire precinct and move it from one county council district to another to approve the proper, or to achieve the proper population deviation. If you get lucky and do that, I call that bonehead redistricting. This makes it really simple and sweet. Don't have that here in Owen County because of the population center around Spencer. It's real tight and congested here population-wise, and everybody else is kind of a little more sparse there. So what the proposal is, what hopefully they will approve, is we're actually going to take your Marion Township, which is one precinct, and split it. So half of it will be in one district, half of it will be in another district. So in addition to the redistricting that they're doing, at the next meeting, hopefully they'll actually approve the re-precincting. And it's perfectly acceptable to do one before the other or the other first. There's wiggle room in the law like that. So that's where we're at, and I can't remember what population deviation will be after this change. Do you remember what?
7.6.
7.6. I'm sorry, I'm helping about 18 counties right now, so they all kind of run together in my head there. So we'll get you way down there, 7.6, and you won't have to worry about this again until 2031.
Thank you, sir.
Hallelujah.
Couple more points to add, though.
You just fly right along, brother.
So the question was asked of me, what happens if, unfortunately, one of those county council seats become vacant, where the district has changed, okay? So from now until the end of 2026, which is the end of that elected term, the districts as are right now will remain in a ghost district status. They're not really there, but they're still there for electoral purposes. So if there is a vacancy in one of these county council districts where the boundaries have changed, we'll go back to the old maps, and those people will be eligible to run for that spot, and or those precinct chairmen would be able to vote for the potential replacement up until the end of 2026. But once we have the 26 elections, the new districts are the districts until changed again after the next census if need be. Both the Republican Party and the Democrat Party will be allowed to appoint new precinct chairman and vice chairman for this new precinct that, I don't know if you guys settled on the names Marion 1 and 2. That seemed to be the simplest route right there. I mean, you're free to name one of the precincts Shelton 1 if you like. But
Whatever you want to do for it, sure.
okay. Probably going to be Marion 1 and Marion 2. So both party chairs will be able to appoint new PCs and vice PCs in those precincts as well. So I think I've heard myself talk enough. Any questions from the audience or anything?
Public got any questions before I read the ordinance? You want to read the ordinance, Diane?
That's okay, not with my glasses.
Great. Okay. Owen County Board of Commissioners Ordinance 2025-005, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners of the County of Owen, State of Indiana, established by its order the boundaries of election districts within Owen County, Indiana. Whereas Indiana Code 3-11-1.5 requires each county within the state of Indiana to establish voter precincts, and whereas the Owen County Board of Commissioners, hereafter the Commissioners, pursuant to IC 36-2-3-4, are required to divide the county into 4 districts that are composed of contiguous territory, are reasonably compact, and contain nearly equal population for election to and membership into the county fiscal body. And whereas Indiana Code 3-5-10-7.1, good Lord, requires, it doesn't say good Lord in it, but I mean, requires each county within the state of Indiana to redistrict or recertify districts if said districts are not in compliance with Indiana Code 3-11-1.5. And whereas Owen County, Indiana deserves to modify and reestablish certain election districts in an effort to balance the population of their respective districts according to the 2020 census data. Section 1, now therefore be ordained and ordered by the Board of Commissioners of Owen County, State of Indiana, pursuant to IC 36-2-3-4, that Owen County, Indiana be divided into 4 county council election districts as follows. District 1 shall consist of the following voting precincts: Harrison, Washington 2, Montgomery, Wayne 1, Taylor, and Wayne 2. District 2 shall consist of the following voting precincts: Washington 1, Washington 3, and Washington 4. District 3 shall consist of the following voting precincts: Lafayette, Marion 2, Jackson, you want me to put your name in this? No. Morgan and Jennings. District 4 shall consist of the following precincts: Clay 1, Clay 2, Jefferson, Marion 1. Section 2, a copy of the ordinance shall be filed with the clerk of the circuit court, clerk of Owen County, Indiana. Section 3, the ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its adoption. All ordinances or parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Passed and adopted this, what day is it? First of all,
17.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-005, establishing by its order, the boundaries of election districts within Owen County.
I'll second.
Sam, can you read District 1 again?
No.
I think we missed one.
No. Yeah, District 1 shall consist of the following voting precinct: Harrison, Montgomery, Taylor, Wayne 1, Wayne 2, and Washington.
And Washington?
Washington 2.
Okay.
Huh?
4, that you had.
Read, you want me to read 4 again?
That's new.
In order to make it, this one was way too heavy.
Yeah.
There are several moving, but none of your elected county council district members are carved out of their own districts. We're not putting 2 in the same districts for a bloody primary next year or anything like that.
The split Marion and Washington 2 was added to District
Yes.
1. Okay.
I probably should read them again because Beth over here says I missed another one. So District 1, Harrison, Montgomery, Taylor, Washington 2, Wayne 1, and Wayne 2. District 2, Washington 1, Washington 3, Washington 4. District 3, Lafayette, Jackson, Jennings, Marion 2, Morgan. District 4, Clay 1, Clay 2, Jefferson, Marion 1, and Franklin. Any other questions? We good? Dave, I made a motion. You second it,
I'll
sir?
second.
What's the date again?
17th.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do you need a copy of this, sir?
No, sir.
You don't need anything?
No, the only thing left to be done is your approval of the 2 maps for the split Marion. We had to come back up here, but it's pretty cut and dry, very simple. The
It's,
ordinance for that.
we got to do them both, so do you have it? When will we have that?
I told your attorney I didn't have a draft of that ordinance, because it can be very simple, where you simply reference the Exhibit A, map of Marion 1, Exhibit B, a map of, Marion 2, but I don't know how wordy he wants to get with his ordinance.
Okay.
So I'll leave it up to him.
All right.
And then you're done until 2031.
Praise God, I will not be here for that.
And Diane has all of our, but I'll help her with
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Head south. Y'all have a great day.
You too, sir. By the way, this is all vetted through the county attorney and approved. Thank you. The next thing, order business is Rural Transit Service Agreement. This is a service agreement between Rural Transit and Owen County. This is for them for their application for the grant process. We do it every year, but I will have to read it to you. Here we go. Resolution number 2025-002. Resolution authorizing the filing of CY 2026 application for a grant under section 5311-5339 of the Federal Transit Act as amended. Whereas the U.S. Department of Transportation is authorized to make grants to the states through the Federal Transit Administration, FTA, to support capital operating and feasibility studies, assistance, projects for non-urbanized, there's a word, public transportation systems under section 5311 of the FT Act of 1964 as amended. Whereas the Office of Transit in the Indiana Department of Transportation, NDOT, has been designated by the governor to make section 5311-5339 grants for public transportation projects. Whereas the contract for financial assistance will impose certain obligations upon the applicant, including the provision by it of the local share of project cost. Now therefore be resolved by the Owen County Commissioners. The Owen County Commissioners has designated the following nonprofit organization to coordinate and provide 5311 funded rural public transit services within our county, Area 10 Agency on Aging. The Owen County Commissioners also understands Area 10 Agency on Aging to be operating under a pass-through agreement with Monroe County Commissioners for the provision of regional transportation within Monroe, Owen, Putnam, and Lawrence counties. Owen County Commissioners understand Chris Myers to be the authorized official with the nonprofit mentioned above that will submit the section 5311-5339 grant application to NDOT and furnish such additional information as NDOT may require in connection with services provided with our county. The undersigned, duly qualified and acting in the name of the title officer of the Owen County Commissioner, certifies that the foregoing is true and correct copy of the resolution adopted in the legally convened meeting of the Owen County Commissioners held on April 17, 2025. I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2025-002, authorizing the filing of the CY 226 grant application for Federal Transit Act.
I'll second.
I don't know how many of you utilize rural transit. Anybody here utilize rural transit? Okay. They're a good team. They help a lot of people. And I know a few years back they were struggling to even keep operating. And so I'm all about it. Our elderly people or just disabled people need all the help they can get, you know, and rural transit has been around a long time, so we're going to pass this resolution. We're all in favor of both of us. I think it's just me, dude. Got that. Highway Department, Mr. Mellon.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening, sir. Chad, man.
Commissioners, I want to start out, you have my sincerest gratitude for allowing me to return to work. I made mistakes, and as I told you in the executive session, I apologize, and I apologize to these folks here. Saying that, every man's burden involved does not rest on my shoulders. But again, I apologize and thank you, sincerely.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chad Walker, commissioners, did a tremendous job during this last storm, and he deserves the credit for that, as well as the highway department crew. There's still a lot of roads being pieced back together. There's still damage that is being found every day, and as you know, we met today in Jack White's office with Homeland Security, and we're preparing documents in hope for reimbursement and replacement of damage. I mean, we're at now we're just scratching the surface, and we're at a little over $12 million worth of what the commission desires for us to present to fix issues, and it will continue to grow. It's due by end of day Monday. We will be working throughout the weekend, Chad and myself, to see that is complete and ready to present. I spoke with David and sent an email in regard to the community crossing road projects for the 2025-1 call. So everyone here knows this commission has a desire to fix things correctly with the proper drainage, culvert replacements, tree removal as needed. So as Sam says, we get the biggest bang for our buck, and it lasts the longest. In order to accomplish that type of work, we need to do an addendum in regard to the bid packet that we sent out. It would be my proposal that the commission allow me to make the addendum to where the contractor does not start work until September 1st of 2025, and an end date of June 30th, 2026. This is allowable by NDOT. We do qualify for the 2026 grant, and we would qualify for the 2027 grant as long as the 2025 grant was closed by that time. And if we stay within those dates, that could be done. With those dates, commissioners, Chad and I have worked together on this, and our proposal would be Freedom Road in 2025. And Freedom Road, when you look at the project, consists of, when you look at the grant, consists of 3 projects. The road is done in segments: High School Street near Freedom, Pleasant View Road, and Kelly Road, leaving Anderson to be completed in 2026, as well as Class, Hollybrook, and Pea Ridge. If by chance we would be able to complete another road to where a contractor could possibly lay more asphalt in 2025, we would word the addendum to allow that. I have spoken to 2 of the 4 contractors that pulled bid packets, and they agree with that. I'll reach out to the others, but if allowed, I would like to do the addendum and get it out Monday.
With to the public, I want to thank the highway, Chad. Thank you. Chad did a tremendous job.
Outstanding.
Yes, first responders, Chris Lunsford and his team, they had like 11 rescues, I believe it was. Jack White, the fire departments. I want to thank the public. You know, we went red there for, what, a couple days or whatever it was, and of course, anytime you go red, the phone rings. I can't get to town to get my Polar Pop. I guess should have got it the day before. And it's funny being a preacher, when I went red, I got phone calls like, you know, I know we're red, but can we have a church? No. It was like, I can't go red and have church and have people traveling. But overall, I want to thank the community. They listened well. They did well. You know, you always have the few people when you put up high water signs. I thought this was pretty funny. I was putting up a high water sign, and here comes this car around me. I already had the sign up. It says high water. And what that means is let's drive through to see how deep the water is.
Yep. See if we get stuck.
Thank you. So, but anyway, my hat's off to the whole team. The highway workers did an excellent job, come together. Chris, all the first responders, dispatch, for handling the calls. You there? To dispatchers, appreciate all that you've done. Jack White, can't think enough about what he does. But anyway, we're in a tough situation with the highway. We've had some issues. Everybody's familiar with them, and I'll get into detail about more of that later. But you know, it's always nice to get your road blacktopped, isn't it? But it looks good, more smooth and stuff. But if you're not prepping the road correctly and doing things right before you blacktop them, you're wasting your money. And we've had to do it in the past. You guys had to do things like that in the past. And I understand, and I'm not saying that every road we're going to get to come to with our funding situation the way it is, we're going to get every ditch put in and every culvert and every tree cut. But with the community crossing grant roads, with this extension time, I was under the impression that all these roads had to be done by end of August of this year, and there's no way we could do them, whatever the proper English language is. I know that Greg reached out to that lady, I can't think of her name.
Tessa Salzman.
I talked to her twice, and she said, you know, made it perfectly clear that we have till the end of next year to get these roads done without being in violation of getting any more grant funding. So that gave us a little bit more of a time to get some roads prepped. Now, we don't want to take it all the way up to December 31st, so we're going to try to get it cut back end of October of next year to get these roads done, but we still get to apply for the grants for next year and the year after, so we're not in violation, which I'm glad, because no way they could have got the roads done. No way. So I appreciate that. And with that being said, Greg, I'm not a paver. I don't know much about paving roads. You know, I've spread a little blacktop in my time, but the extension, I think, please reach out to your other two contractors that, you know, that bidded on this to see if they're can keep that extension out for us. Do you know whether, if we go into 2026, some of these roads, the money has to stay the same?
Yes.
We don't have that flexibility that 2026, this road is gonna cost $10,000 more because we got a certain amount of grant money and that's it, you know what I'm saying? So,
We understand it has to stay within the parameters.
and I hope they,
Not 1 cent more.
when you reach out to them and explain that to them, please have them fill something out and tell us that. Because I don't want to get caught in a situation that in 2026, we're doing a road and they're saying, well, that's going to cost you $20,000 more. So make sure when you reach out to them, have them send you something stating that they understand the circumstances that we're in, but the budget doesn't go up, if you would, please.
And we'll make sure we put that in the addendum in writing.
Absolutely, because, you know, with the circumstances the way they are, we have to save every dime we can.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, I agree with the extension. It's gonna give you more time to prep the roads correctly. So I make a motion, we accept the extension and have Greg write the addendum to the contractors.
I'll second.
All in favor? Oh, okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes.
Lastly, Commissioners, you know, we could be getting more rain. We are
Sweet.
prepped and staged if we need to respond.
Good.
That's just for information, and that's all I have
We
this
got winds
evening.
coming on Friday.
Yes.
Got
Oh, yeah,
a lot of-
wind
lot of
will be
wet ground.
up to 50 mile an hour on Friday.
You know, once again, we can't, if the good Lord says it's gonna rain, it's gonna rain. If the wind's gonna blow, the winds are gonna blow. We can't do nothing about it, but work your crews how you can, rest them, work them if it's necessary. Right now, we're in the kind of the stage, for the taxpayers out there. I've been to a lot of roads, Dave's been to a lot of roads, I'm sure Gary's been to a lot of roads, these guys. They're still, you know, we're still uncovering things on a daily basis. We're gonna be uncovering stuff for days and months to come, so, just to keeping the roads open at this stage of the ball game is a task at hand, just to keep the roads open. Like I say, with more rain coming this weekend, you have no idea what we're gonna get into, so maybe the same song and dance. Unfortunately, Chad, but I hope it's not for you, so you can stay home with your family, okay? Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
Thank you. Department heads, Chris? Don't say nothing. You don't got nothing? Hallelujah. Paul, you got anything?
I do.
Who? Oh. Okay, go ahead, Heather.
I actually am needing a motion from you guys in the meeting minutes here for the bank account situation that we talked about before.
Yes.
Sheila couldn't be here, but she needs removed from the escrow, and Susan Zimmerman needs removed from the building. But we also want to combine the escrow and the building department account into one, so we don't need the escrow anymore.
So, and I know you told me about this a few days ago, but what happened a few days ago, I can't recall.
Sure.
Thanks. So who's gonna be on that account?
I need to be on the building account.
Just you alone?
Currently, it's just Susan Zimmerman on it. so-
Okay. So we need to make a motion to remove Suzanne Zimmerman and
Sheila Reed.
Sheila Reeves. Have you talked to Sheila about that?
Yeah, she actually brought it up to me.
Okay. What's my motion? To make a motion to remove Sheila Reeves and Suzanne Zimmerman from which bank account?
So Sheila needs to come off escrow, and Susan needs to come off the building department account.
I'll make a motion to remove Suzanne Zimmerman from the building department account, okay? Because she's no longer affiliated with that. I'm gonna hold my motion for the other one, for Sheila, until I speak to her in person. Fair?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
And then to approve me to be put on that building department account.
There's something else out there. All right, I make a motion to remove Suzanne Zimmerman from the building department bank account and to add Heather, what's your last name?
Huntington.
Huntington to the building department bank account.
I'll second.
All in favor? 2-0. Anybody else? Department head? Elected official? You're not a department head, you're not elected official.
Park board.
You're not a department head or elected official at the time. Hang on a second, just give me a moment, Pam. I know you're wanting to speak.
Okay.
You'll get your time. Diane, you have anything? That's it?
That's it.
Praise God.
I know.
And we'll get to commissioners' comments at the end. Okay, Pam. Public comment.
I'm sorry, I just went where they used to go in the past.
Well-
Short and simple, this is from the Veterans Park Board. Park Board met and elected new board members. Primary leadership changes are Matthew Fletcher, Director, Bill White, Assistant Director. You have before you just a summary of things that we need your assistance with. We're asking for the commissioners to please send their maintenance supervisor out to troubleshoot a electrical light matter. The American flag is not illuminated, and we need to get that resolved. But we do need to run that through the commissioners and through your maintenance department for approval. There are some time-sensitive playground management matters that we're asking for a commissioner to please schedule a site visit to come out to discuss those in person at location. And then before you, you have a copy of a draft ordinance for you to consider at another time of some amendments that need to be considered by the commissioners, possibly at the next meeting, to help manage matters of park maintenance for the interim.
Okay, I want to go back to something. And thank you. You're right on top of it. You read my mind, didn't you? And nothing against, I appreciate what you're saying, appreciate your input with the Veterans Park. What park board are you on?
The Veterans Park Board, the
Veterans Park Board.
Veterans Park Board.
So they have a board.
They do have a board, and in the past, through the commissioner's minutes, the park board, at one time, Mr. Harvey had
Yes.
dual positions.
Yes.
When Mr. Harvey wasn't present, the secretary of the park board presented. And so in the past, through the history, the park board has come in, if they've got a request, they have to have a budget request, or they need commissioner assistance or oversight. They've come to the meetings before and presented a short thing like I've done.
Okay, so, and you probably know this answer to this, or somebody here might know this. The commissioners, did they deed that little piece of ground to the veterans for their park, or did they donate that piece of ground, or are they just letting the veterans use that piece of ground?
The 68 acres, 68 plus minus acres, is deeded to the county commissioners. That is county commissioners own property.
That is correct.
Okay. There is an ordinance, you've got a copy of one ordinance. There's a second ordinance that discusses the fund account that is set up. So there's an ordinance that establishes a fund for the maintenance of that park and of the memorial wall. And that fund is directed to the Veterans Park Board / American Legion involvement of that
Okay,
entity.
so that's my question. And please correct me, because I don't know yet. It's county property.
Yes, sir.
Did they deed any specific part of that ground to the veterans?
Not that has been.
That's, I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So
It is county property.
it's still county property, but we turned it into, or got turned into a veterans park, and we let the veterans use that, or they,
You have a maintenance agreement,
with the veterans?
yes, for the management of that, and as best we can put together with all the records, we're supposed to, it's county property, so the Veterans Park Board is not really in a position where they can make certain decisions to do things to the physical property of that property without running it through the commissioners. And that is, we have requested another meeting to go through all of that infrastructure, to get all our ducks in a row and get it done correctly.
I totally agree, because anything that this Board of Commissioners can do to help our veterans, we're going to do. That's it. We may go broke and belly up, but we're still gonna help the veterans, okay? So it's my understanding, I know it's the commissioners own the property, the veterans have that spot down there, but there's an agreement between the commissioners and the veterans to keep the park up and running. But it's my understanding that the veterans, whether it be from the American Legion or the VFW, are they both working? Are they both part of this board?
The the ordinance established the American Legion as the entity that involves the funds. The people on the park board are actually representative of, there are VFW and American Legion, and there are auxiliary members that are on this board. The 1921 original document where this was all started was done in a resolution that our leaders of the town actually passed a resolution for the commissioners to buy the property to dedicate it as what was called the War Memorial Park. And it has segued to what it is today, and there are some things that we're asking for assistance to make sure that paperwork and our records and the way we do things are compliant with what the new commissioners are wanting, and there's no misunderstandings.
Yeah. So how is money raised for this park?
By the ordinance that you have on file, money can be raised for this park and for the memorial wall through the sale of timber and through a fund. There is an established fund that appears in the yearly budget.
We have fun.
That fund, if you look at the ordinance, there's an actual fund number. That is split between the park and the memorial wall. This ordinance is outdated because it does not address how yearly monies are brought in. At the present time, the park board accepts donations. So
Okay.
if a party, there is no fee to rent the pavilion or to rent the facility, a donation can be made. That donation goes into the not-for-profit fund that is overseen by the park board. They use those monies to buy supplies, things of that nature. If there is a matter, if we need gravel, electrical, if there's something that is beyond the scope of that, this board does not have the authority to approve an agreement with a contractor to do a service. Everything has to come through the commissioners unless it is just routine maintenance.
Okay, so there is a fund established that has money in a fund for like buying paper towels, toilet paper, something. Is there, where is that fund?
There is a fund established by the county under your budget for
The Veterans Park?
the Veterans Park.
Is that shared with the memorial wall, did you say?
Yes, it's combined, and it is, that is on our list of what we would like to see. That needs to be readdressed and rewritten and brought current, but not at this meeting and not at this time.
Well, I mean, that's good, thank you. We found the fund here, and it's got $4,532.88 in that. So, who spends the money?
The only persons who can spend the money are the commissioners. So,
Okay, so, hold me right there, because this is where I get down.
okay.
If we're the only ones spending the money for this park, how is supplies being bought for the park?
As I mentioned earlier,
Don't,
the supplies, when you're talking paper towels.
yeah, stuff like it, yeah.
The volunteers, so the park board, which is made up of the different members that I mentioned earlier, they accept donations
Okay,
to help run this, and that buys the nominal supplies that they need. All of this needs ironed out further,
thank you.
because we do not have, we're trying to put together some missing paperwork and things that have happened over losing very key people. But it's my understanding that unless it comes out of our fund, which is managed by the park board, any type of expense other than that has to go directly to you.
Okay,
And it's to be presented during a commission meeting, or like I have been doing with communications with a request.
sure,
So you to make that determination.
makes sense, I understand that. So, has anybody, and Dave Risk is gonna get involved here in just a real second. Sorry, buddy. Has anybody got a list of things that need to be done, or that's outside the scope of toilet paper, paper towel, stuff like that?
Yes, sir, we do, and there's a request before you to come to a presentation by the park board, which we would like to have a round table to identify what some of those things may or may not be. And as you know, there are some pending other studies and evaluations for us to make a comprehensive list underway. So we need feedback and direction. And regarding the playground, I reached out today to Hunter from the town of Spencer, and he's working with us.
I spoke with him today too.
Yeah, because they have the same issue with playground safety. So I've asked, what are your compliance? So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Can you help give us direction? They're in the same situation. He's going to reach out to the school systems to see if we can't come together and at least all know what rules we're supposed to be following. Right now, we don't have the authority to make any of those choices or decisions, except to come to you and say, there are some things that are not optimal or that needs to be
Addressed.
temporarily controlled until we can put together a better plan.
And I agree. I talked to Hunter today too. Of course, they got the mess down here at their own park. And we're going to collaboratively work together. He's going to provide some information in the next upcoming days how we can jointly work together on both parks.
Perfect,
Okay.
right, I met with him today and that,
Yes.
very good.
I do think it's imperative, and I don't even know what that word means, but I'm sure it sounded good, that a commissioner is on this board. We own the property. Nothing happens unless it goes through us. And this guy right here is all over it like a whole bone ham sandwich. I'll throw you under the bus right there, didn't I, buddy? You know, we have to have like a liaison, whether we're on the board or not. You need a liaison
Absolutely.
we need this, this, and this. Rest assured of one thing, I'm not gonna sit back and let that Veterans Park get run down.
That's right.
Not gonna happen.
That's why we came to you with the request to have an informal meeting.
Yes.
To make sure that,
When is that meeting?
we had suggested it be, so your next commissioners meeting is in 2 weeks, and we suggested that we provide lunch, and so whatever time.
I like
you
that.
need-
Hey, you're not going, bud. No.
That way, as long as it takes you to get your business done, then we're flexible. We can meet at the Legion, we can meet at the VFW, maybe Jack's even.
We need to meet at the park.
Right.
We need to do a PowerPoint. I can do it on a laptop. There are some things that we need to do. If
Okay.
you want to do it at the park, we can. make that
Absolutely,
happen.
we need to have in the park. Because see, if we do it on that day, we have donuts in the morning, then lunch after. See, I'm thinking,
Who's we?
well,
So
That would be me.
I'll run this through. It's not my decision on the messenger here, so I will translate what you
Okay.
said and then correspond back.
Just get, you got my email.
Okay.
get with us, make sure the date. We want the veterans to know that we're here to support the veterans. We're going to support the veterans. I know we're involved, Jack's here, about the Doughboy. It kind of got stalled a little bit because of the floods and this stuff, but it's a project. Chris has presented a great landscaping project. Hopefully we can get back on the ball with that here real shortly and get that done.
I know I missed my cue, but I got an update.
Go ahead, is this with the veterans thing or another update?
It's EMA, flood, Team Doughboy, whatever you want, I'll update you.
So, yeah, he'll update them. So I want the veterans to know, we made a commitment up here, and I'm gonna stand by the commitment that the veterans are not left behind. The Doughboy, we started on that, Pat's he's already dug a ditch and dug a hole and found out how deep the footer was, and praise God, and Chris has got the landscaping thing drafted out, preliminary stuff. Jack, we had a meeting and had some people show up, and people's got jobs to do, and we're gonna get right back on this because, you know, the flood's over for the moment. It's time to go to work. A lot of people's asking, and this is probably off topic, what's going on with the roof, with the crew up there. For Evians that don't know, I mentioned in the council meeting, There's two different crews, a scaffolding crew and a repair crew. The scaffolding crew was removed from the job site. I had some issues with their professionalism, and so I had them removed. That's the reason nobody's been here. I don't tolerate rude behavior out of nobody. I'm not going, and I didn't tolerate it from them. So we're waiting on them to form another scaffolding crew or whatever they got to do. That's the reason it's been delayed. Nobody's been in the parking lot. Jack, that's all you know.
All right, well, I had some complaints that people couldn't hear me on the boob tube, so I'm gonna go up here by the microphone, so I have more complaints. They'll complain about something, this won't be that.
Hi, Jesse.
The meeting we had this morning, and I'm really updating the community here, because you guys already know, we are in a preliminary damage assessment. Everybody needs their numbers in on Monday. We have a $103,000 threshold for the Owen County. The state has a almost $13 million threshold, and they're trying to clump the two storms together at the end of March and beginning of April. Looks like they may get that done, and there's several counties involved. There's already a state emergency declaration declared, and I think they're going to be submitted at the Washington D.C., try to get the president's signature and go with a federal declaration and see what that'll do for us. So we've got things working there. Fourth worst flood in Owen County's history. Doesn't seem like it, does it? But it was.
Wow.
The reason that we didn't have the impact on the homes and the residents is because of the major FEMA buyout, the mitigation work they done in '08. It's when everybody, house either got tore down or raised if you were in the high traffic area down there for the White River. So that was the difference this time. It didn't take a break on our county roads though. So you guys know that, and that's what we're trying to get money from either the state or the federal government to fix that. Any questions on where we are with that, or?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Team Doughboy. I talked to Janet Rummel, and she is more than willing, quite excited actually, about being the fiscal agent for this project. So if anybody would like to match your donation, what was that, $1,000 a piece? You guys?
Easy.
Wasn't that what it was?
Yeah, it was 500 a piece.
500?
I think it was 500.
Yeah.
I brought a pen.
500.
If you guys got your checkbooks, I brought a pen. So Janet is ready to accept checks, and she's also going to assign us an intern that will take care of the social media stuff for that that project. And that's really what we're going to be waiting on. We're going to be waiting on enough money to get started and get going. I would like to encourage the public, or especially any veteran, if they have any ideas, input, special knowledge about something they'd like to share, reach out to the commissioners. You guys are both involved in this, Chris Lunsford or myself, Pat Conder.
Yes.
So if you know any of those guys, you have something to say, we're willing to listen. And now's the time.
Right.
Not when we start digging dirt, because we already know what we're going to do at that point. So
That's right.
if you have something to say, let's talk about it. So that's really the big update this month, is the fiscal agent. So anybody like to donate, it's going to be at the Community Foundation. And like I said, I'll remind everybody that all three commissioners have challenged the other elected officials to match their donations of $500 a piece.
Yeah.
And
that's-
of course, we'll extend that invitation to match that donation to the public as well.
Well, let's just get the ball rolling on that. We do have a challenge. The commissioners have challenged anybody and everybody. We're doing $500 a piece. I'll just throw it out there right now. Anybody want to commit to that $500 out there in the public? Anybody? Raise your hand. Speak now for anybody. It's a challenge. This is for the veterans. Diane, we got one.
One taker.
Anybody else? Now we got one to give me two, now one to give me two, now two, now two. Is that how you do it, Jesse?
That's it.
Is that it? Can I get a job?
Got a professional back there.
See, this is for the veterans. If whoever was here when Chris presented the layout, an awesome layout, if you haven't seen it, give it to Chris. He'll show you the layout, because you will. It's going to be nice. We want, Pat Connor's been right there. Pat, I didn't see you raise your hand. I'm just throwing that.
You can nod
We
your
can get
head.
somebody to raise a hand for you, Pat.
My hands are waving, but it's not for $500.
Put your hands down. Put your hands down. Okay, so it is gonna take some money, but you know what? With this type of organization, especially with Jack and the crew, Pat and Chris and Janet Rummel getting involved, I think we're gonna raise the money to get this done. We're gonna raise the money to get this done. Beth, you wanna donate anything by chance? I'm just asking.
Of course I will.
Okay, see, of course you will. Let me ask the question a little easier. And I won't say the $500. Anybody out there think this is a good project to donate to, raise your hand.
Look at all them $500 we got.
Somebody,
right
keep,
there. You see that?
keep your hand up and get a picture. I don't want to call everybody. So, it's a great project and we're gonna get her done.
Janet Rummel's the expert, and she seemed to think that this community will have no problem getting behind this project and funding it.
I'm going to reach out to some local churches. All of our churches got veterans in them. Right, Bob? We can, Bob, are you hearing what I'm saying to you, Bob? We can reach out to churches, a lot of them veterans, and see if they can contribute too, you know. It's for everybody. It's for the veterans. We owe the veterans something.
Yep.
We owe them everything we can give them, and we're gonna make it happen. Anything else, Jack?
Yes,
Oh, I knew it.
last Friday night, the 4th and into Saturday, April 5th, we had a few departments that done outstanding. In my opinion, the county highway guys went above and beyond to get the signs out, get things put back together just as fast as they could after the destruction occurred. The National Weather Service said we had 4 inches of rain between like 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And it made it almost impossible for Chris Lunsford and Dale Walker and their guys, the fire guys and EMS guys, to get around. I don't think Chris and the Swiftwater Rescue Team had any sleep for about 2 days there. We had 11, I think, is that right, 11 Swiftwater rescue runs in 48-hour period. We normally don't have 3 a year, and had 11 in one weekend. And it's the same 3 or 4 guys that go out every time, and they were exhausted, but they done a fantastic job. Very proud of them. We're lucky to have them here in this county, and they're all volunteers. So
That's all
they're led
told.
by Chris Lunsford and Joe Fry, and yeah, like I say, we're lucky to have them.
Very much so.
That's really all I got. The commissioners were very responsive. Anytime I needed something answered, thank you guys for being right there on the phone every time I needed you. And
Well, for Jack, Jackson EMA director, he's a one-man band, but, I've been around long enough to know when I was sheriff, the things we needed from Jack and Chris and on the fire department. You guys have always been absolutely highway, dispatch. You guys are the best. So hats off to the people, the first responders, and to the public for what you did over the flood. I'm happy with all of it. And I'm proud to live in Owen County. We got a good group of people. When things get tough, we just knuckle down and get with it. So hats off to everybody.
I'm sorry, I forgot you guys.
I said dispatch twice, so Jack didn't even think.
Good job.
It starts right there, and they're easy to forget about,
Yes.
because, they just do their job silently and just, I can't because you're on the
Yeah.
radio. But they don't jump up and down, and nobody's, putting it in the paper, but dispatch done a fantastic job, and they're the backbone of this whole thing, and they definitely did their part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I'm sure you started getting calls before the rain ever got here, wind, trees down, and all that's got to go out to the first responders. So once again, hats off to the dispatch. That's 3 times. Sorry that you missed, but that's okay, Jack. We'll help you. Right there in the back.
I have a question. last year, me and Mr. Greg Melton worked on trying to get Hyde Road taken care of, a certain part of it. It's a major stress point in the county's road system. Every winter, cars slide off that particular spot. Debbie Keith's school bus can't make it up in the bad winter days. And we were both in agreement that it needed to be taken care of, and I got it in writing that it was gonna be on the 2025 road plan. And I was kind of surprised to hear that it wasn't read off in the community crossing grant. So I was just kind of confused and wondered if there was a reason why it was taken off.
Well, and your confusion will have to go along with mine, sir, because I don't know. But you might have to ask Greg
I
about.
can explain it right here in this meeting. The former board approved the stretch of road and height that he's speaking about. Basically, there's a hill there, as I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, 2.2 miles.
Yeah, it's like
not
not
2
quarter
miles,
mile, it's really
0.02
small.
miles, so many feet to be ditched, which is part of your program, culverts, and the former board did approve to put asphalt on that short section of that hill.
Okay, so it's a short piece, correct?
Yeah, it's a quarter mile.
And the former commissioners agreed to do that, but we just haven't a chance to get it done?
That's correct.
How long was something like that take, Greg, to do, and that short section we're talking about? How long do you think, and do you have maybe a cost behind it?
We talk about the storm damage we have to take care of. We have to
Yes.
prepare for the community crossing road, but that short section of road, basically, gentlemen, it's from where the asphalt stops on Hyden, if you're familiar, to where you just get to the top of the hill, is the area we're talking about. It won't take terribly long to do, especially the ditching and the pipe work.
How many pipes are in that, right there in that area, roughly?
Yeah, forgive me, I mean, we put a plan together for it, and I didn't bring that
Okay.
with me because I didn't know, but your major issue is gonna be ditching, and there is, at least 3 driveways that cause a major problem there, as I recall. So, you're not talking about any road pipes, you're talking about reshaping the ditches and getting some, driveway pipes in so you get the water away
Off
from
the
the
road.
road and off of it. He is correct, and for whatever reason, you've got all that slope, and it is gravel, but it holds water in that hill, and it gets very slick when it freezes. It's a hard area to maintain.
Did we ever get a cost analysis on that, sir? Do you know?
I don't know. I wrote up my own report for him, and then he took care of the rest.
Okay, do you know if?
We actually did, Sam, I just didn't know we were going to discuss it this evening, so I didn't bring it with me. I can have it for the next meeting.
If you would bring it to us, at least we can look at it and stuff, at least we have something to report back to you and give you some sort of, maybe a time frame or an understanding or what we can and can't do. Don't want to discourage you by no means, but I didn't know anything about it. But if he's got, bring it to us next meeting so we have some sort of idea what we're talking about, especially the cost. I'm not just going to sit here and we're neighbors, by the way, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my comments I'm going to be making here real soon is not going to be very impressive. But rest assured, we'll do everything we can, but I will not make you any promises. But we will look at it, okay? Yes, yes, sir.
I got 2 more things before we go too far away from EMA.
Go right ahead.
On May 9th, Owen Valley High School is doing a day of service. The students are volunteering their time for projects. First of all, thanks to Pam Rogers for letting me know about that. I got hooked up with Kristen Porteous, and we're going to have volunteers over at the EMA building, health building, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what it's called anymore, but the building on the corner to mainly clean out the basement. I know I was supposed to have you a list today. My day didn't go anywhere all close to planned.
Oh, neither did
So,
mine.
Really?
I can give you that list. It's about 4 or 5 things. And we're going to get that basement taken care of. The last couple of people, including me, that's moved it out, has left some stuff behind, and we're gonna make that right.
Good.
And the Duke Foundation has a grant program opened up right now with about a 3-day window to get the application. It's a little bit longer than that, but not much. And it's for $5,500. And I'd like to update the electronic equipment in the EOC with that money. And plan to do that unless you guys have any heartburn with it.
I have no heartburn with it, and the one thing about Jack's budget is he's got a budget, a very small budget. Jack has absolutely no operating 911 emergency money. Zero. Other than his regular budget, there is no money in a coffer for him if he needs something. You know, I've been around long enough to know that when I call Jack and I need something, he takes care of business. And sometimes it's not very productive when you need something right now and you have to make a call or wait for things to happen. Jack needs the ability to be flexible in helping out the taxpayers here of Owen County. And I've said it all along that we need to create a fund for him to have money in case he needs to get something. I don't want, like, for Chris and Jack and different people to, I know they have to go through the commissioners. I understand the chain of command, but folks, when you're in an emergency situation and you need something done, you need to get it done right now. And waiting on approval sometimes is not the answer. We've got people in positions for a reason, and I expect them, I know they're gonna do their jobs. And, you know, it's like Diane, you know, she's got an office to run, and there are certain guidelines she has to go by, and sometimes she has to run stuff past the commissioners, but there's times she needs to get something done. I just expect you to get it done. I mean, that's just that's how I operate. So, Jack, I think this grant that you got coming up, spend it the way you see fit.
Okay, we'll do. Duke is very, very good to all emergency managers in the district, in the area.
Good.
They keep us in mind at least once a year, so thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks to Duke Energy. Did you guys make everybody mad before I got here or something? Or no cookies? Everybody's mad?
His fault.
What's going on?
His fault.
All right, well, maybe next meeting.
Sorry, you was late, sir.
Sheila's not here too, so that's a downer. So, all right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jake.
Public comment. Jesse, you got anything? I know you showed up and I missed your call a while ago,
Never
but,
been to one, Barry, come and see one.
well, you come to the next one. We're having donuts. Then after that, we're having lunch at that Veterans Park, so, appreciate you coming. Chad, I'm gonna let Brett, you just hang on a second, buddy.
I just wanted to say thank you to you guys as board. During the flood, you two were out there with us almost all the time, taking signs out to get an extra set of eyes and providing meals for the guys. Much appreciated.
Thank you for
That's
your
all.
hard work, bud.
Yes, thank you again. Dispatchers, again, thank you. That's 4 times, say, guys. Yes, young lady?
You know, here we are, we're talking about these floods, and we're talking about culverts, and, you know, my culvert out there, I know I'm on a private road, but with that being said, my culvert out there is in really bad shape, and if we get more bad rain, I'm afraid that culvert's gonna go. If that culvert goes, you have a whole subdivision out there that will be at risk. Emergency vehicles cannot get in, we cannot get out. Is there a way we can get somebody out there to look at this culvert? Because I know our state is talking about giving us some funds because of these floodings. You know, is that something we can look at?
Are you in an HOA?
We don't have an HOA.
It's a private road. That is an excellent question.
Is it the culvert that hooks you to the county road?
No.
No.
It's when you pull off the main drag. How far back there is it?
It is right past the Ionic Stone. You come right down that hill, but there's a creek that is feeding in right there. A creek or a lake, I don't know. that's feeding in right there, and that's what's making us flood at that
Okay.
culvert. And that's where our problem is coming from.
I don't ever want to hamper EMS or the fire department from getting to anybody's residence. I don't ever want to impede that by no means. Life's life. People's human lives are worth something more than a culvert. But there is obstacles in our way. Now, you're on a private road. We talked about this, and I know you want me to try to help, and
Right, and I get the whole road is off the table, but the culvert is a huge issue.
it's a huge issue. So here's just my take on this, and this is just one commissioner talking to a taxpayer. But basically, I'm talking to the life-saving part for EMS and the fire department or whatever. I'm gonna ask either Chad or Greg to go out there and look at it. That's a private road. I just want them to go look at it. Get your assessment on that culvert. What it's gonna cost, what it would cost. Then, with that being said, if it collapses and the ambulance can't get to you, that's a bad deal.
Exactly.
But on the others, if they can give me a cost analysis on it, has anybody in your neighborhood or on that private road got together and say, hey, let's call K&R Construction or anybody to come out and give us a price on putting the culvert in?
I know I have talked to a couple of the neighbors, and I'm trying to get some of them to work with me, but I'm gonna tell you, it's not easy.
Here's what I suggest that you do. You're gonna take your end of, I'll have Greg and them go out and look and draft up something. But for you, really putting this on you need to call some local contractors. Have them come out there and look at that. K&R Construction, who else you got?
That's what I was gonna say.
Jones.
Greg, if you got some names that you could give me for that when we get done here, that'd be great.
Because, I mean, he can go out there and look at it and kind of get his idea on it, because after him or Chad, either one. But you need to call some local contractors, tell them they need to get out there, and if they, if it's something, Greg will know, he'll go out there and look at it and say, Commissioners, this is gonna collapse, and, or whatever the case may be, or he may have other suggestions, that he can give those suggestions to you. But you're gonna have to do due diligence with yourself, one, and your neighbors to say, hey, and they need to get up off whatever and make some phone calls, so that's where we'll start, okay?
Okay.
I think still we're talking about Kelly Farm Road.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's there.
Well, I don't know if it's road or drive. Because where the stone place is, if you pass it, you have to come down that hill. Where you would be going towards Kelly Farm Place.
And the Y go left. It's that culvert down that little
Yes.
dip.
Down that dip,
Yes.
yeah.
Understand.
Just,
And Greg, on Clark Road, right before you turn off on Kelly Farm, you can look at the crater that's in the road too. That would help your neighbors in the
Yeah,
neighborhood.
it's big.
we got a crater in the road, oh,
It's that deep, but I'm not.
Surely not.
can't believe we got a
Surely
crater.
not.
There's three of them connected, it's not really one crater, it's like three.
Okay, sir, your turn.
I just was interested in some clarification. In order to go red on the travel advisory or travel warning, you have to declare an emergency. When I went in and read the emergency declaration, it referred to in areas of high water, down power lines, and tree debris. And so I was ready to commend everybody on the way that's put together. I just want to clarify. So that emergency declaration was for the areas that were affected by those things, is that correct?
No, the emergency declaration for the entire Owen County. And the reason that it was is because we had no idea every aspect of the county that was in trouble. Jack, am I correct?
That is correct, and we had another storm system predicted to come in and
Yeah.
dump another 2 to 3 inches on us.
Because we hadn't seen everything, right? We couldn't get out to every place and stuff to see. You try to err on the side of caution for the whole county to protect you.
As it turns out, I of course opted not to get out during that stuff.
Well, it's not an easy decision, you know,
Yeah,
we don't
but
wanna
having-
take your freedoms away, but we
but
also
having
don't want you
read
out
it,
there.
I would have concluded that if I avoided the areas of high water, down power lines, and tree debris, I wouldn't be in violation.
You wouldn't have been in violation, but for us to make that declaration, we have no idea with power lines down on this road, that road, or a culvert's got washed away or whatever, or a tree is down, you know. Dispatch could have called us and said, hey, this road's out, that road's out. And it's easier to make the declaration for the whole entire county, hopefully for the shortest term as possible, which I think it was a fairly short term. Then to go out and see for the county highway and the fire departments and the rest of us to determine, okay, now we can go back orange. The one thing about the declaration, and I understand, like people live in town, you can't tell me I can't drive nowhere. I'm not in that zone. Yeah, you are. You're in the zone. Maybe you know that your road is okay and you can make it to the polar prop stand, but we may not know that. And so it affects everybody. But once again, during the declaration, I was out the whole entire time. I think there's more people out during the declaration than there was when just a regular business day. Why? We have to see the high water signs, road closed signs, can't go here signs. So, are they gonna pull people over and arrest them and write them tickets? I never wrote one ticket for anybody when I was the sheriff for that kind of stuff. I did have to ask some people, what are you doing? We were out to look around. Now you're out to turn around, I'd tell them, and go home. It's basic principle of respect issue, sir. The people, we don't do it because making you stay in your home, or we're gonna arrest you, write you a ticket. We're trying to do it for the safety of the people, keeping as many people off the road, so the fire department, EMS, and whoever needs to get to where they're going, because they may have to come through the road that is open to get to the bad place, and they need all access to that road they can possibly get. That, basically, that's what it's all about. But we're not trying to impede on anybody's freedoms, but when you do the declaration, it's for the whole entire county. Does that help you any?
Yeah, that's just not how I read it.
Yeah, I know. And I appreciate you staying home.
Yeah.
If I'd seen you out, I'd waved at you and everything, you know. Yeah, so, public comment, anybody? Anybody else? Yes, sir.
My name's Nathan Abrams. I'm president of the commissioners in Greene County, and I'm also on the drainage board.
Hello, Nathan.
We have the Lagoon Creek drainage.
Yes.
It only covers about 350 acres in Owen County, and about 12 or 1,300 in Clay County, but Clay covers 19,000 in Greene County.
Wow.
Starts at Jasonville, runs all the way to the Eel River. Being that it drains 3 counties, we have to have a multi-county board
Sure.
for that drain.
Okay.
Clay County's already signed on. We just need to know if Owen County is interested or not interested.
We are.
Okay. Our county attorney is handling all the paperwork. It's gonna take, we'll be lucky to have it ready by next year, by the time we jump through all the hoops that we have to.
Yeah, right.
As you guys know,
Sure.
public hearings and everything, but I will just have our attorney get in touch with you guys. I mean, or do you want us to go through the surveyor?
No, get in touch with us.
Okay. And a lot of the correspondence will come from our county surveyor too.
Sure.
So we just very excited to get this thing going. I've been commissioner 13 years now, and
I'm sorry.
this is as close as we've got.
I'm sorry, sir.
Well,
Yeah.
we started back in the 70s, trying to get this levee on this drain.
Really? What's been the problem? What's the holdup? Red tape?
Red tape, people not in favor of it. There have been court battles, everything over this. And now then, I think we've got enough people that are seeing the value here. And enough people have invested enough money over the years in their field tiles and stuff like that that are going bad, that maybe we can get something together on it.
Sure. Jack?
It'd be wonderful. I will have our county attorney get involved with you guys. I do appreciate you guys having us here, and I can't believe this crowd. If I had this kind of crowd for a commissioners meeting, I wouldn't know what to do.
Well, let me stop you right there, sir, because this is where I got in trouble. My wife is an excellent cook. She bakes cookies, pies, cakes, all stuff, and I usually try to bring something. That's the only reason they're here. So I disappointed them, so you heard me. I've got to drive all the way to Linton at their next meeting at 5:30 in the morning to get donuts.
I'm pretty sure my wife's not going to see this, so I can go ahead and say this. She's not that good a cook. And she's not that motivated. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
I got a question. Is there any monetary obligation from Owen County on
There'll be a tax levy put on that drain, and basically, Owen County will just collect whatever that assessment is, and say there's 350 some acres, once the board is established, that'll be its own separate board. It'll be a 3-member board, 1 member from each county. So that board will wind up setting whatever the levy is on it.
Yeah, and I think once your attorney drafts that information up and gets it to us, then we'll have more of the specs on what it's going to be and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yes.
And right now, the president of the Greene County Drainage Board will be on that board. Paul Sanders from Clay County will be on that board, and then whichever one of you commissioners want to be on.
Okay.
Or, I think you guys are still your drainage board, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be one of you 3 commissioners will be on that board.
Hallelujah, another thing to sit on. Yeah.
Is this Jefferson, would it dump in Jefferson Township and finally into Eel?
Yes. It's Johnstown.
Okay, so would it be what was used to be referred to as the Hallsville ditch then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and it'll still be the western part of it is still Houseville Ditch. And for somehow the very end of it, just before it goes into Eel River, got renamed Lagoon Creek. I don't know how it happened. I don't know who did it, but that's the way it happened.
So it is classified as a legal drain?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it'll be a legal drain.
It'll be a legal drain.
Once it gets, yes.
To maintain.
There's nothing that's a legal drain unless it has a tax levy.
Right.
So once the tax levy is assessed, then it will be a legal drain. But thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any other public comments? Before I have to, what?
No problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, sorry, let me pull my notes. So I'm really glad to hear that Greg has been reinstated, but I'm wondering if you guys can comment and explain a little bit more. Something that was repeatedly promised was that Greg would have a chance to say his piece and explain, that there'd be more explanation at this meeting. And,
Yes.
you know, this is something that the Owen News will be doing a follow-up on, as well as something that has been circulating on Facebook and of pretty significant public interest. And so besides just broadly more explanation, I would love to know, you know, will Greg receive back pay for the period of his suspension? When exactly was he reinstated? Will Chad receive any sort of bonus for serving as acting superintendent, especially during a major storm and flooding incident? And then is this resolved, or are there more claims still that are coming in that are unpaid. or
Okay, so
anything.
that's, how many questions was that? 25?
All of them.
Okay.
Just all of them. I was losing track too.
We had an executive session, I don't know what day it was, you know,
Friday?
last Friday.
April 11th.
I know it. Here's the deal, and I'll be brutally honest as I possibly can without saying what we said in the executive session, okay? Because we can't talk about it. It is private. And Greg is fully aware of this, and so is Chad, and so the public will be fully aware too. And this is my opinion, and maybe my opinion only, but I don't think so. We are still conducting research as well as an investigation. The State Board of Accounts, was you going to mention that in your auditor's comments?
Well, she said either you would or I could.
The State Board of Accounts, I have a meeting with them next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. The State Board of Accounts will be here to audit 23 and 24 budget audits, regular kind of routine. State Board of Accounts will absolutely, I don't know what the word is, Brett, you're probably a better English person than I am. When it comes to the county highway, every fund, every line item, every claim, every purchase, every transfer, every appropriation, anything bought, anything sold, is going to be looked at.
Contracts.
Thank you. Contracts, isn't it, is right on top of the list. I wrote that down, I don't know why I didn't read my own write out. It's a full-blown audit for 2023 for the county, but it's also going to be a full-blown audit for the county highway. I mean, it's going to be extensive, and it's going to be expensive. But I made a commitment. I said to everybody in meetings that we're not going to let this go. I'm not going to let it go. Greg Milton is guilty of things that he did and did wrong. He admitted it. Greg's not the only guilty person. When the State Board of Accounts gets done and they turn in their report, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But rest assured, there's going to be some people, and probably some people maybe in this room or listening, that's not going to like what happens. I don't care who you are, what your position is, elected, appointed, janitor and stuff like that, they will not like what's coming. This issue of highway stuff has been going on for a long time. This is not a 6-month, 8-month deal. I wished I could just really tell you what I want to tell you, but I can't. But when they get done, they'll turn every page, every claim, every ticket, look at it, look at every fund, every line item. They're going to be addressing us, they're going to be addressing the council, they're going to ask questions, why, good, bad, so we can start brand new. That way, the council, the commissioners, the taxpayers, the highway, everybody's going to know exactly what went wrong. Everybody. There's going to be no hidden secrets. If we have to call it out, this happened right here, this is how it happened, that's how it's going to be called out. Because it's going to be public, because the public has a right to know. I don't want to hide anything. I'm not going to hide anything. Mr. Melton is guilty of some of the things that he's done. He is owned that, okay? And I've heard repeatedly, don't get me started here, so I ain't had nothing to eat. Anybody got a cookie back here in the pocket? There's more than Greg Melton involved in what's coming. The chips are going to fall where they may. And I've said it over and over, I'm gonna keep saying it over and over. If there's weeds that need to be pulled, they're gonna be pulled. Sue me. Whatever. Because if we're not honest with the taxpayers, with their money and the things that's going on, I don't need to be in my position. I'd rather resign and say, I can't do this job, as to do it half-heartedly and say, well, guess we can just overlook that, you know, no big deal here. It is a big deal. We're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Greg knows that. His staff knows that. Everybody knows it. And now with the tax thing that's coming, that's going to happen in 2026, it's a domino effect. If people out here in Gaga land think that, well, it's all going to be okay, it's going to be okay, but it's going to take a while for it to be okay. Remember when we had the deficit many years ago, the county went broke, general fund went broke, and we sat down there at the county fairgrounds and everybody sat in a round table discussion. We went through all this detail, went through all that detail, and we're supposed to follow this plan, A, B, C, and D. Might as well shove that in the toilet, because it didn't happen. So now we're back to another round of issues that can't continue for Owen County, because it's not fair to the taxpayer. Yes?
All right, those were two, I mean, I want to correct you a little bit, because when I came on, it was when they had, that we were 6 months away from going bankrupt. And we did the hard things and we got it back on track, so this is totally different than that one.
Doesn't make any difference. It is maybe totally different, but it's on the same precinct, because I was there when we went through the bankruptcy thing, and I remember what the former attorney told us to do, A, B, C, and D. We did not go A, B, C, and D. We may have went A, B, and C. We skipped D. We skipped some things that we shouldn't have skipped. That's my opinion. Totally. I'm just one person sitting up here. So this may be different, but it's still a debt. So it's our job as commissioners to make sure we don't skip, you know, do A, B, and C. C is not really that important. We're not going to do that. I had a meeting today at 3 o'clock with federal officials. I don't mind saying it, because I can say it. It's not a hidden secret. I met today at 3 o'clock with the FBI. I just tell you, I met with them, and we'll see what they come up with. Why does things have to be a secret? They don't need to be a secret. Yeah, hey, just go ahead, 1, 2. Yes.
You made a statement the other night that the county highway owns 2 graders, at least one. We only own 1 grader. The other 2 are being leased.
Are they both being leased? Okay, that was my understanding that only one was being leased.
The 2 140s are being leased.
Okay, thank you for the clarification on that. No.
I ain't trying to step on toes.
No, tell me, because if I don't know, see, that's the input that we need from the public. If somebody knows something out there, because 3 sitting commissioners, I don't have all the answers. I don't. Yes?
So during this whole investigation, if there's previous commissioners that have been involved, is there any retro to them for what things went wrong? If they're not serving anymore, can things be done or not?
You want me to tell you the truth, don't you?
Yeah. That's why I asked.
That's why we're here.
God, I hate you asked that question.
Somebody has to.
Samuel will take her home.
If it turns criminal, yes.
Okay.
But I will state this, and I'm probably going to get a phone call. It seems to me that it's okay to be unethical and immoral all you want. There is no justice for it.
Well, there is.
For what? Explain how there's justice.
If you're doing something wrong and you're messing money.
Not for, if it's criminal, repeat what I'm saying.
Okay.
Criminal is one
If
thing.
it doesn't turn out criminal, then it's okay that things can be done the way they were done.
Absolutely. I had that meeting. I've had that discussion many times.
So it has to be a certain dollar amount.
It has to be criminal.
Which means a certain dollar amount to make it criminal.
Official misconduct, stuff like that. It has to be declared criminal.
And nobody got hurt by it, so, other than the taxpayers.
Thank you. Boy. How many,
Okay, so as a taxpayer, we got hurt by it, so can the taxpayers do a civil suit?
call the state. They're gonna tell you the same thing they told me.
Probably costs too much in legal fees.
I know it's not what you want to hear. I've dealt with them for years. And it's unfortunate. It is extremely unfortunate. I don't like to see the taxpayers being taken advantage of. Now, some of it, nobody's perfect. Things do happen.
Right, mistakes happen.
Mistakes happen. But there are some things that are not mistakes. Some things have been done on purpose. That's where, back to one of your questions, that's what we have to find out. Then if they tell us they can go here to do this, okay. If they tell us we got to stop here because it don't, it's not worth the effort, so to speak, which is unfortunate. That's why I say that certain things that have happened in our county, there's simply no accountability for.
But at the end of the investigation, it will all be laid out on the line with names telling us what happened?
It'll be right here in the public. I'll read it to you.
Okay.
I'll read you the report.
Okay.
When they get done and write the report, I'll read the report here in the public.
Okay.
I got nothing to hide. Why should I?
That's another question.
You can ask, yes.
So, back to, and it was mentioned in, I know, you probably want me to shut my mouth and take me home, but
They still have a job.
when you're discussing in the council meeting the fact of, okay, you're gonna change the process of the invoices. Okay, so like, they have to purchase something, or they gotta go get rock to do this road, they get an invoice. Then it gets turned into the auditor for payment.
Correct.
So if they know, say for instance, they could budget X amount of dollars for rock, whether it's the 53s, the 8s, the 6s, or whatever they do, can there not be like a purchase order for, say, whatever quarry they're gonna get it from for X amount of dollars? They use that purchase order number, that's what is attached to the invoices, and that you can monitor the dollars going against what's being spent. And if they run out of their money in that purchase order, then they're done.
Okay, and I'm not, I agree with what you're saying. It's like a checkbook. Now, my wife, God love her, to anybody can live with me, deserves a blessing from God when she gets home. We have a budget. And out of that fund, there are certain line items attached to that budget. So much for my coffee expenses, my donut expenses. Got to have humor in this, people. If my donut expense is $20 a month, when that $20 runs out, I don't get no more donut money. It is so easy, but people are making it so difficult. If you do not know what's in your checkbook or your line items, how are you supposed to tell anybody else what's in it?
No, I agree.
So with the changes that are coming, and I know a lot of people think we want these overnight and it's going to happen, boom, boom.
No.
But we are working hand in hand with the auditor. She's got some great ideas. State Board of Accounts has got some good ideas too, and we're going to use those things. But for right now, all invoices from the county highway are supposed to go where, Greg?
The
Does anybody hear that? All invoices that come in for county highway supposed to go to the auditor's office. I've said that in 2 meetings before. And I hope I don't have to say it again.
Do they have certain dates for the twice a month?
Yeah, they got rules and regulations, okay?
Because we just heard twice a month, we've never heard like by the 15th and the 30th.
You have to ask the auditor's office.
We have a schedule that we send out with the meeting dates, and it tells exactly when those claims are due, and then it'll fall onto the next docket to be approved.
You can't just say, I'm spending $5,000 on stone and not know where that stone's going. Everything that comes in goes somewhere. When it comes in, it becomes inventory, if it sits on the lot. When it goes out, it's attached to a job. All that has to be kept track of. And when you run out of donut money, you're out of donut money. Don't go over here and steal from the coffee fund.
No, because you gotta have the coffee.
Because when you get the donuts back, you have no coffee.
That's right.
Does it pretty basically, it's pretty common sense. I think, the problem, one of the problems that I see, and I better hush. I don't want to say anything I shouldn't say because it's not time for me to say it, but it will be time for me to say it soon, I hope. I hope when the State Board of Accounts gets here and they do their thing, they say they're going to be coming in a couple weeks to start the audit. I don't know how long it's going
Tuesday.
for the preliminaries. But they're starting Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay, great, starting Tuesday. I thought they were just coming for the call. But great, starting Tuesday, that makes it better for me. The sooner they can get things unraveled, and you know, if they unravel everything, and they put paperwork here and documents here, and for me, I gotta have crayons. I gotta be able to visually see it. Don't tell me, I need to visually see it. Jack always says, show me, don't tell me. I need to see it, and I'm gonna see it all. Yes?
I know, now correct me if I'm wrong, I could do, because I've used, as a staff earlier.
Well,
I know the other night you had made a comment, I thought that like when we purchased stone from a quarry, you didn't know where that stone was going to. It says on our activity sheets on the type of material we got, where it come from, where it's going, what road it's going to, and we never have it proposed.
okay,
Okay, 135 is stock to the shop.
right.
Okay, 103 is what we spread the rock with. And we also put down the invoice numbers plus the tonnage. We do that on our activity sheets, but I was confused as you said you didn't know what it's probably going to.
Because I don't, because when I look at claims, it doesn't tell me that on the claims.
Well, on our activity sheets, we put that.
See, that, you're making a good point. Your activity sheet says it goes 20 ton of stone went to Clark Road, yada, 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 no. But when you turn in claims, for $3,000, I have no idea where that stone went.
So that's where I was confused at.
The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing because the right hand doesn't know what to do. So when claims get turned in, that documentation that you got on your ticket needs to be on the claim. Because when the auditor looks at the claim, and it's coming from whatever fund it is and stuff like that, when you run out of money, that's it. The same information needs to be transferred, because a lot of claims don't have any, they got, a bill or something, but where's it going to? I've seen a lot of claims about stuff that comes in, such and such, such and such. What's it for? There's no information on it. That information needs to be in detail when the claims come in. That's what I'm presenting. You guys do tickets, you write your stuff down on your call sheet and log sheet and stuff like that. All that's gonna have to be transferred to make sure that all the claims represent that in a timely fashion. But all claims need to go to the auditor's office. We made that announcement a couple times, and I'm making it again tonight. All claims for now, have to go to the auditor's office till we understand how much money we got in certain funds. Because if you're not a budget person and you don't know line items and stuff like that, it's easy to get confused. It's easy to think, well, I think it comes from there, but I don't know. Well, let's just put that down. Looks good. Okay. No, and I'm not blaming them. I'm not putting no, but it's got to be corrected to where it's absolutely correct what's coming from where, what budget, what fund, and what line item. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And it'll get corrected.
Well, and some of the funds are restricted that you can't pay certain things out of, so you have to know what that is. But just like if they had their own, you had your ticket, why can't they just make a copy of that and turn it in with the claim too, and then it follows on down the line, so when Sam's signing off on them, him and Dave know what they're paying.
Yeah, but I just kind of took it the wrong way that we weren't doing our job, and you didn't know where the stuff was going, which we was doing our job, and we, I just.
I'm not sitting here blaming you guys for this.
I just misunderstood.
No, well, I'm pretty easy to say things. I'm not politically correct. When I see it on my end, on my claim cycle, when I'm looking at claims, I better know where it's going. I can't approve stuff that if I don't know what I'm approving. Too many times, they have sat up here and not pick claims. I've been a commissioner for a little over 3 months. I have pulled 37 claims in 3 months. Why? Because I didn't know what they was. Somebody want to explain something to me? Okay, auditor's office explain, or county highway explain it to me. You cannot just sit here and rubber stamp claims and pay them if you don't know what you're paying. Nothing against you guys. At the end, I need to be able to see the claims and say, okay, that went to there, that makes sense. That makes sense, perfectly good sense. I need to validate it instead of looking at it and wondering, what's that? Okay, oh, that's, here they are. That's just that. The attorney sends me an itemized bill for his services. Itemized, in detail. Every text message, every phone call, it's broke down. If I look at something, I see his bill, I'm thinking, I go back, there's a spreadsheet that tells me that's exactly what's going to happen here. Auditor needs to see it, what?
No, because that's something easy to fix.
It's something, yeah, and it's going to be fixed, because when it gets to me, I want to be able to look at the claims and think, the clerk's office, I'm going to pat you on the back a little bit, she's got detailed information. She spends money, you know where it's going. It's not rocket science. But some of the claims that I've gotten in the 3 months I've been here, I can't tell you what it was for. That's what has to stop, because when you're just stamping stuff, if you're stamping a claim that maybe shouldn't have come out of that fund, or maybe the auditor, maybe they missed it, or your cash balance is getting low, if you're not looking at your cash balance, if you don't know what your cash balances are and you keep spending, you rob Peter to pay Paul, then you rob Paul to pay James. Now Peter and Paul's both broke. Next thing you know, James, it's become a domino effect. Plus other things that's involved in it too. But that's all gonna come out in the wash. It will. We'll have a clean social. You want to ask more questions?
Just one more.
Happy all day.
Hey now,
Yes.
do you have any anticipated timeline with State Board of Accounts? I
No.
know they operate on their own schedule, period.
No,
but-
I don't.
Okay.
They're not just auditing the highway, they're doing
Everything?
the whole county. It's just on the cycle, and we just got done with one, and that bill was $50,000. So this one's gonna be probably at least the same. That's a lot
But
of money, but it's mandatory anyway.
Yeah, and they have asked me, what do you want from us? And I told them, you take the highway department there from one end to the other. I want every claim, contract, paper transfer, appropriation, everything that went on from the county highway, I want it done. Open it up, nothing against anybody. I'm not trying to put blame on anybody, but if we don't start with a clean slate somewhere, we're never gonna get any better. We're just passing the buck. When I leave here, I don't want the next set of commissioners to come in, think, oh God, what'd they do? I don't want to see that. The county doesn't have the money to waste or to lose. Yes, Chris?
I just wanted to mention that this is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, our dispatchers. They do a great job for us and appreciate it.
Sam, I just add something here that may help.
Oh, sure.
You know, when there's an actual discipline to these processes like you're talking about, it makes it transparent because everybody knows you can go back and prove it. And so the finger pointing that goes every direction gets weeded out. The people who are doing their job right can demonstrate that they're doing their jobs right. That's the essence of what these audits are in general. Nobody should be scared of the state board coming in.
That's right.
That if you're doing things the way they're supposed to be done, then you get to prove that you're doing it. And it becomes transparent to everybody. You know, the issue that you're also trying to communicate, there's a difference between criminality and incompetence. Okay? And sometimes incompetence feels criminal. It's not necessarily the case.
That's true.
But sometimes it's by design. And I think that when you say if it's not criminal, it's hard to hold accountability, transparency will handle that other side. Okay? Actually putting all the detail out, as you're talking about doing, will handle the incompetence piece. And sometimes, you know, some people just aren't suited to certain roles that they may have to be in. Now, I'm not somebody who sits here and looks for terminations. That's not my job as a taxpayer who's offended by a lot of this overspend to do. But yet, there does have to be accountability, and if it's not leadership at the in the building at the highway department, then it's leadership in this building that is accountable for what's been going on. And it's been I'm here to tell you, as somebody who's followed it closely and been in a lot of these meetings, this has been going on since 2019. And, you know, and then into that 2020 period when the county almost went insolvent. And of course, all the blaming was money's missing, money's missing. We had crow audits, we had all kinds of stuff that demonstrated that this was a spending problem. It was a spending problem back then, and it's a spending problem now. And until we get these processes in place that put the discipline in there so the spend can't exceed what the budget and appropriations are, this is going to repeat itself, I'm afraid. So I like what I'm hearing, and I know it's a difficult conversation to have, but it really is about the transparency of this stuff. That's going to be what's going to take care of the non-criminal performance and drive the discipline at each level. So those folks that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, recording the, you know, the loads they take out and all of that.
Right.
That stuff, it filters all the way up, and they don't get in broad strokes, you know, kind of incorporated into stuff they don't have any control over.
Yeah, because sometimes they get caught up in the mess and they shouldn't get caught up in the mess.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of departments that are spot on. They're doing their jobs, they're doing them right, and my hat's off to those stuff. And I don't want the people that get caught up in a mess that's not their fault. You know, but sometimes it's like, oh, well, you just suck everybody into the same pile. No, 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 no. That's where we have to dissect who doesn't need to be in that pile. They're doing their jobs over here, they're doing their jobs over here, but these people suck. Whether it's incompetence, ignorance, laziness, there's all kinds of reasonings for it. But you said something a while ago that I think affects, it would affect me. I'm not near as smart as my wife. I'm just telling you straight up, that woman's smarter than I am. Because she studies and analyzes things, she takes more time. Me, I'm very impatient. I like things to happen right now. But I found out that it don't happen that way sitting back here. You have to dissect stuff piece by piece, day by day, email by email. It becomes painstaking. But that's what I have to learn to do. Me, I could cut to the chase right now. I could clean house. Is that the right thing to do? Not at this time. But if the findings come out or something, this and this, then that's when the commissioners have to take appropriate action regarding the appropriate people. Not him as the truck driver, because he's doing his job. Comes to work every day, bring you lunch?
Every day.
Brings you lunch every day? Your wife make it for you?
I make it myself, believe it or
Well,
not.
praise God. If he comes to work every day and does his job, that's what I expect for him to do. If he's writing on his tickets what he's supposed to be writing on his ticket, and he turns them in to the next stage of the ball game, he's done his job. He don't need to be caught up in the mess. Let's take care of the people that's causing the mess. Let's get it figured out. Let's get it figured out the right way, because I agree with you. You know, I didn't think I was gonna have to spend my first 3 months in office trying to dissect the problems. I was ready to go work, you know, I'm a hands-on. Let's go to work and get things done. It's been a turd. I'm telling you straight up, it's just been a mess. Greg knows it's been a mess. He mentioned it's been a mess. Last 2 years at the county highway, been absolutely circus event. To say the Peyton place, whatever name you want to throw at it. So that's why we want to do due diligence, sir.
Yeah, really.
Painstaking, and go through the process to figure out exactly what the problem is. And we're gonna know.
Yeah, and it's that transparency that's gonna take it, because if I go back 4 or 5 years to the last time, there was a whole brand new shiny system that was in it, was gonna do all this stuff, right? And we didn't use it apparently, okay? And so we repeat, and so that's why I say, you know, I'm just here to voice, put it in the open as it's appropriate, you know, as it's appropriate.
And we will, and I've told everybody, I'm not gonna hide nothing from nobody. When the State Board of Accounts gets done writing their report, I'll read the report right here. That's what I should be doing. So the public can understand exactly what's in that report. Then it's up to the commissioners to do diligence to say, this is wrong. That's what we need to fix. No matter how, we need to do it to fix it. I think everybody knows what I'm saying. I can't say what I want to say, but we're going to fix the problem. Yes, sir.
Well, I just wanted to comment on, with your training that you're bringing in, I believe that's one of the best steps you can do. And the fact that you have people working jobs that were brought in to a situation that weren't fully qualified. And this county, for the longest time, ever since I've lived here for 35 years, is the learn as they go. Well, the big thing is too, is leadership, like with yourselves, and don't put that person in a position that is going to come failure. You don't take somebody that can't run a grader and you put them on a grader. You can't put somebody who don't have a CDL in a dump truck. Simple as that. And that's something that, because I worked for the railroad, and we had a card. It had punch what you're qualified to do. And if you weren't qualified, you was on that piece of equipment, you hurt somebody, you're out of here. And things like that, when you get things to where you keep your accountability in check, and that you make people responsible. That is a whole key, and to have good leadership.
And you're making a good point. I don't want, boy, I thought we'd be out here by 8 o'clock.
2 hours down.
But you made a good point, accountability. Not everybody can be a sheriff. Not everybody can be a highway superintendent. Not everybody can be a banker. And when you put people in positions that they cannot, one, if you're not learning something new every day, you might as well go ahead and resign. But some people are in positions, or should have been in positions, or have been in the past, now, or whatever the case may be, and I'm not calling out on anybody. It's not because they're bad people. They simply cannot do the job. And if you simply cannot do the job, it's unfortunate. You need to remove those people from the job. Because if you keep them in that position and they can't learn, and some people just can't learn stuff. I mean, it's nothing wrong, you just don't learn stuff. But if you keep people in certain positions, it doesn't get any better. It will get worse. And it'll get worse. And it'll get worse. Things will crumble. Then it's like, well, Dave's doing the best he can. You know what? Sometimes the best you can is not good enough for county government. The best you can doesn't work sometimes. I am not an EMA director. Don't put me in Jack's position. I'd fail miserably. Could I be trained to do his job? Probably not. I'm just not skilled that way. Build you a house, I'll build you a home. Am I could be an EMS director? No. Some people just don't have the ability to do their jobs.
I just have one other question, more than a statement. The county owns courthouse and grounds. And when we have a group gathering, whether it be a fair or like we're getting ready to have, and I'm not trying to step on any toes, everybody has a right to free speech, everybody has a right to protest if they want, but is there any kind of county ordinance or a city ordinance that they have to get a permit to have a certain size gathering?
Yes.
Okay. And in that permits, they're supposed to be respectful of our veterans.
Oh, absolutely.
Wall,
Yes.
everything.
Yep.
And I talked to a nice lady that was here, and they're gonna have more police presence down here when we start having these gatherings, which I think is a good thing. Because no individual person, no matter how you feel against somebody else, should be interfering with somebody else, their little prey. Because all that's gonna do is cause conflict. And if you let the police take care of it, or call them if you see something that's really wrong, that is the best thing you can do. Because we had an individual here that showed a conflict in the street with another guy in another vehicle.
I watched the video.
Yes, and that's bad. Somebody's gonna get hurt. I don't see nobody in this county get hurt, no matter what they stand for or their beliefs.
I agree with you 100%. You know, protesting is fine if you're doing it peacefully. You know, I agree with you, and there's rules and regulations for that kind of stuff. If you want to protest, protest, but you're going to do it peacefully.
I just want to bring that point up so anybody that's watching on YouTube that thinks that they have to come down and disrupt somebody else, you're wrong. Don't start a fight because you don't believe what somebody else believes. I mean, you can't agree with it, but that's their opinion.
But you have to be peaceful about it.
Yeah, just have some respect for each other.
I agree. Nicole? That answered about everything you need?
I don't know that I got a solid answer about the back pay or anything extra for Chad.
No, I mean...
I can answer that.
Go ahead, Chad.
My job is, if the superintendent is absent, to step up and do that job. That's all there is to it.
There you have it.
Okay, well, what about for Greg, because.
He was suspended without pay. When you're suspended without pay, it means you don't get paid.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other, the only other commissioner comment I got is, I met with, IT company AME and HICOM, because I don't know, who's anybody watching YouTube? The video's not been good for a lot of different times. Is it awful now still?
It looks better tonight.
Yeah, anyway, they're both the units are getting together and they're gonna fix this. And they're gonna do it right, and also gonna fix to where we can hear units out there in the public land. They think it may be just something we're gonna have to pass a microphone around, which is great, because sometimes you can't hear you talking when you're sitting out there. You know, a lot of people, you know, are supposed to come up here to the front, but some people feel out of place coming up here to the front. I don't want anybody feeling out of place, but HICOM and AME's putting together, I'm not IT people, so they're putting together something more of a surround sound for us, where we've got better clarity, visual, and we can see everybody in the room. Don't need to see us, we need to see the public too. That is happening. I was in a conversation with AME yesterday, so they are working on that. It's unfortunate we've had to have them work on some other things that took priority, but it's still on the table and it's gonna get fixed, so. Anybody else? All you got now? You didn't bring your checkbook, did you? Always ask her if she brings your checkbook, so. Everybody good? Is there any certain kind of donuts I need to bring, or just bring all kinds? All kinds, I can see that look on everybody's face. You got anything, Beth?
Yeah, the audit, highway's not the only one that is in the red. We've got other departments that have got some accounts in the red, so they're not being picked on, I mean, it's.
No.
And also Sheila has worked hours upon hours upon hours on this. You guys know it. She's here almost 7 days a week, and that's probably why she's not feeling well tonight, because it's wearing her down. So we gotta get a grip.
And to reiterate that, yeah, I talked to Sheila this afternoon, and she works a lot of hours. She's here all the time. But to be honest with you, she's making herself physically sick. Folks, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. There has been twice already in 3 months that I've thought, you know what was I thinking? What was I thinking running for commissioner? I'd retired as sheriff, got my own security company, life was good. I said this in the council meeting the other night, I have to spend so many more hours now dealing with stuff going on. Guess what? It's not worth it. But Jack White reminded me of something. You got elected for a reason. That was to help the people. So that's what I got to do. And I've asked the council, and hopefully they're going to think about this. I asked them in the council meeting, they need to meet more than once a month, because we need help. We need decisions, got to be made sometimes twice a month and not just once a month, because we can't wait. We're in a critical situation here, so hopefully the council can get together and have a few more extra meetings to help us. Budgets is just around the corner. And, you know, so I need their assistance to make this work too, because it's a communication thing. We have to work together. Everybody's got to work together. And that's something that didn't happen. The communication link was not very good, was it? If any communication at all.
I will say something.
Go ahead, turn that little red light on.
I think, the breakdown, the way government is set up is good. And if it is done correctly, it runs like a, well-oiled machine. What I feel like the breakdown is at the department head level, and I'm not saying I'm not picking on anybody, but I think we've got to help these people understand the budget process, and how to stay within their own budget.
And, you know, you were talking about spending a lot of time at this. Well, I understand because I spend more time at this than my full-time job. But, you know, whatever it takes, whether, I mean, and I've stressed to my council, the liaisons, to sit down. You know, we're not going to wait. This year is going to be different because we're not going to wait until, you know, July or August to sit down with the department heads and help them come up with a good, realistic budget and one that they need to stick to. So, but it's got to, I mean, Sheila should not have to do everybody's thing, I mean, stuff for them. It's got to, everybody's got to take care of their own department. And like I said, there's some departments that do an excellent job.
Oh, there's probably more that
Right.
do a good job than not. But I don't want to ruffle feathers. The council needs to step up, Polly.
I know they
As
do.
well as
I know they do. And I
seven
said,
packets that she makes,
mm-hmm.
and maybe one of them got picked up this past week. Now, I know you get yours.
Yeah, Anton and I get ours electronically.
Yeah.
And I know several of the others do too.
But one
But-
other picked
yeah.
his up.
Yep, I understand.
But if they're getting them, and I agree, if they're getting them electronically, she don't need to be printing out a massive
No.
load of paper.
Well, and that's it, but they're not even opening up their emails to see what's there.
And I'm glad Paulie said that, and Beth, and I'm not here to upset nobody. That's where the training involves everybody.
Well, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that it needs to, I mean, these people that get in these positions need to understand, you know, what it entails. And, you know, whether, you know, whether it's training, you know, whether with the council liaison sitting down with them, I mean, it's gonna change.
It is gonna change because the commissioners need to learn stuff, the council needs to learn stuff, we all need training, we all need that. I'm probably the most uneducated person here when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to learn, but I'm gonna make mistakes, and I'll own up to them. But the fact of it is, I need as much training as anybody. Gotta go to some schooling next month over some things. If you don't go, you don't know. You don't learn. And
We
it's,
need an orientation process to move forward that we don't have.
Yeah.
if we had human resources,
Right.
there, and that's another clock for the human resources. People need to be orientation before they come in. They need an exit interview when they leave. Why'd you leave? What's going on? This and that. There's none of that happens here. People come and go on a whim. This person gets hired for whatever. That person leaves for whatever. And that's the reason it's so important to have human resources, because a lot of that stuff could have been in check a long time ago. But it's a learning curve. Now we know. And once you know something, if you don't act on it, we're not doing due diligence.
The only thing that's worse than training somebody and losing them is not training them and keeping them. But I will say this, the training, the financial, the budget side, you know, it's not a magic pill, because clearly somebody along the way understood that if they turned in certain invoices from last year, there wasn't enough money to cover them. So if you can know that, and the evidence would suggest you must have, somebody in the chain must have, okay? You actually understand what the budgeting process is, you're just not following.
It's like checkbook at home. You gotta follow the rules. You can't spend what you don't have. We can't rob Peter to pay Paul. Hopefully, we get it. I think I'm confident we're gonna get it under control. Still a lot of things to look at, sir. But we are headed in the right direction. We're better today than we was a week ago with some of our findings. It's still not pretty, by no means. Downright ugly. But we're gonna keep moving forward, keep processing forward, and make sure that doing right. Your employees are two things, either your biggest asset or they're the biggest liability. I have no use for liability in employees, and I have no tolerance for it. I won't accept it. If you've been trained and you know to do a job, and you're supposed to be doing that job, and you're not doing that job, after you've signed off that you understand your job, I don't need you. Doesn't mean I don't like you. Because now you become a county liability. Time to move on. Not everybody's equipped to do the certain task. We got to get the right people doing the right task, doing the right job, so the left hand knows what the right hand's doing. That way the right hand can help the left hand. Cross-training is a must. Oh, I don't want to learn from Dave. You know why I don't want to learn from Dave? I don't like him.
I bring you muffins, though.
So if I don't want to learn from Dave because I don't like him, I should be fired. I should be terminated from my job because I don't want to associate with him because I don't like him. Do you agree with that, sir?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You learn everywhere you can learn.
Everybody else agree with that?
Yes.
Doesn't mean that, we don't like each, I just don't like Dave. So I'm not gonna learn from him. And I'm not gonna tell Dave nothing. I'm gonna keep all my secrets to me, buddy.
You need to tell me so I know what to do.
If I don't communicate with him, if I don't communicate with Gary, and I don't communicate with the auditor and all of the group out here and with the commissioners and the council, if I don't communicate with people, I'm not doing my job. You don't need me as your commissioner if I'm not doing my job. And I don't want nobody voting for me again. If they don't think I'm competent to do my job, don't vote for me. I don't want nobody voting for me. Because it's not right to have people sitting in office that can't do their job or not willing to at least learn to do the job. Put forth a good faith effort. Some people's like, I'm an elected official, or I'm a department head, or I'm this, or I'm that. I'm all that in a bag of chips. You ain't squat if you're not helping the 22,000 taxpayers. That's where I'm at with it. I've had people ask me to resign.
Finish the job.
Thank you. I got a job to do, right, Jack?
Correct.
I have a job to do. And I'll just bring this out there, I'll throw this out there right now. I had this question posed to me the other day. You gonna run for sheriff? I love being sheriff. I was a fairly decent sheriff. I wasn't no A+ sheriff, probably a B+, B at the best. I did my job. I did it right. Had a lot of support, Republicans, Democrats, and everybody. I had probably 92% support of everybody in this county. They just keep coming. They keep coming. You're gonna run for sheriff, aren't you? You're gonna run for sheriff, aren't you? I'll tell everybody, and I'm telling everybody right now, you'll have my answer in December. Right now, I got a commissioner's job to do. I'm not looking ahead at the sheriff's job. But I had two people ask me to resign.
Why? Because you're finding stuff out that's gone wrong?
Thank you. One was a public person, one was an elected official.
Guilty.
I'm the kind of guy you don't want to poke very hard. I poke back. I don't run. I got a job to do. And right now, I'm the commissioner. I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to do the very best I can to help the taxpayers. That's what you expect of me. That's what you're going to get. My wife tells me, no, you're not running for sheriff again. That's what she says. She didn't want me to run for commissioner. She wants me to spend time with her. I got 6 granddaughters and another granddaughter on the way. I am not a spring chicken. I work 2 people any day. But there comes a time in your life when you have to draw the line in the sand and realize that if it affects your relationship with God or my relationship with my family, this job's not worth it. That's where I'm at. How much does people have to suffer at the hands of the elected officials before they've had enough? I think the taxpayers suffered enough. So we're gonna make our stand and do the best we can for the taxpayers, and it's people like you, Brad, that are smart and intelligent, got a good head on their shoulders, that are gonna come in here and question us. Because that's what we need. It's not this, be quiet out there, don't want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. That's the reason the public is in these meetings. That's the reason Paulie sits up there and we've got newspaper people. I want those questions imposed to us, because guess what? I don't have all the answers. I'm not gonna sit up here and say, oh, we got that, we got that, we got that, we got that. With all the stuff I went through in the last week, with all the numbers and stuff I went through, and Dave, I'm sure Gary did too. Wow. My head's about to explode. Because I can't make rhyme or reason of any of it. I can't wrap my head around it. So I met with FBI today. Can you help me? They're like, you need an aspirin. So we're gonna fight. We're gonna stay true to our word. We're gonna do everything we possibly can, but I need your help. All of you. I need your input. Call me. Everybody's got my number. I'm awake from 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll take calls from 4:30 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. You call me after 8, I won't talk to you. I'm not gonna talk to you after 8 o'clock. I'm home, sitting in my chair, getting ready to put my granddaughter to bed. I get up at 4 o'clock, have my coffee. You can call me, start calling me at 4:30. I'm ready to go. I'll give you all day. But I'm not having the type of relationship that I want with my God, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, or my family. In 3 months, that's how much toll it's took on me. In 3 months. It's not right, it's not fair. But it's not fair for you, for me to walk out, or to resign either. Like hell, I'm coming. Let's get her on.
Well, you leave, then it goes to Dave.
And I don't like him, so.
If he leaves, I'm gonna leave.
We're here, we're knuckling down. We got our boots on, and I've talked enough. It's 3.5 hours. Huh? Talked enough? Things gotta be said. The public needs to know.
Well, I think that the highway workers need to understand that we do appreciate
Absolutely.
their hard work. We see that out in the public, we do.
Yeah, I mean, you got truck drivers and operators and laborers and office people and superintendent and Chad. Just told you, just Chad.
We don't like that.
Sounds like I don't like Dave. They're gonna fire you now because you don't like Chad.
He's mean. You don't want to talk to him because he's mean.
If we all work together as a team, it makes this guy in the back row, I'm gonna call you Mike, but that's not your name.
Kevin?
That's close. He's my neighbor from 2 streets over, 3 streets, 2 streets, I don't know. We have a garden plot there, okay? I have no water there, so he has water. And I always go talk to him, hey, I got a garden, can I hook up my hose? What do you always say?
Yep.
Now, he could tell me to go pound sand, but we work together. It's just a communication thing. I ask him, he says yes, we get tomatoes, he wants some, help yourself. There's been so much non-communication between elected officials, department heads, and taxpayers in the last several years that people have just we've grown into a rut. That's just as good as it's gonna get. Sorry, we are a better county. We are a better county, we're better people than what people think of us. We were better people. Good people, good workers here. Strong workers, hard workers, dedicated workers. We're gonna make a difference, we're gonna make a change, but we're gonna do it together.
I do have a question from the other night real quick.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay. You had made the comment that if something, say, okay, you get rid of a piece of equipment, but you have a job that you need that equipment, and you're gonna go to another county for somebody else to borrow, like, do the swap thing, like, okay, can we use this to do this and so on? What's gonna happen if they say yes, but we're gonna charge you X amount of dollars to be able to use that piece of equipment, and we're on a tight budget?
Okay, here's the deal. Have you ever talked about the Be Nice program? You ever heard about that, the Be Kind program?
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy, I'll go to my fellow commissioners in my next county. He's gonna do the same. We need some help. We don't have no money. Can you help us do this? And we can help you do that. It's called an exchange program.
Right, as long as there's no money exchange. Don't turn around and say, now, you owe us
No, no.
X amount of money.
No, you know, I grew up on a handshake. That's how my dad taught me. You shake somebody's hand, you've made a commitment. It's no different than dealing with other commissioners. You help us, we'll help you. If we have to sign a little agreement or whatever, we'll sign it.
Handshake
Agreed.
don't mean nothing anymore in this world.
No, it doesn't.
No.
So that's what we're gonna do.
I heard that, and it's like, but what happens, say, yeah, oh yeah, we'll help you, and then all of a sudden you get this bill. And it's like, well, now what we're gonna do, we're trying to save money.
Sign agreement. It's unfortunate that you have to do that, but you have to do it now to cover your hind end.
Okay, I was just curious. You two can quit talking.
Anybody else got anything? You guys wanna go home, don't you? I'm not gonna apologize for the long meetings, I'm not.
No, it's good to have the public talk.
This is what we're here. I'm sure they're gonna get shorter 4 years from now.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Anybody else? Meeting adjourned.
Oh, Diane, too late.
I did want to say,
Meeting is back on.
You know, say thank you to David Shelton coming from Knox County to
Yes.
help us. He's willing to help anyone and any elected official in any county that he can help.
And with that being said, how much that cost us?
It cost us a few steak pies from the Freedom Country.
See what I mean?
And we didn't get any of that, Sam.
And see, ma'am, he come up here to help, cost us a baked pie or whatever.
Hey, that's well worth it. And your wife could have done that.
Meeting adjourned again. And again.
and